We welcome you on another episode of Inside the Schooners. We get to talk to the front office, players, and coaches talking about the Schooners season. And right now we're in season, and I am so happy to be joined by one of our outfielders on the team, Tristian McAlister. Tristian, thank you so much for coming on Inside the Schooners today.
Yeah, of course. It's a pleasure. All
right, Tristian, before we start anywhere near the Schooners, we got to start about college season. Had a really good season, batted .327 at the plate. What did you think was so successful in your spring season?
Probably just working with our hitting coach. It was definitely a transition from being at JUCO ball to Division I. A lot more off speed. They know a lot more about you as you come into the weekends as a player, and then you see teams twice, and the pitching staffs are good, but not only the coaching is super good. So just working with our hitting coach, trying to have a good approach up there. I struggled at some points too, but you kind of got to make the most of every day you're going out there and playing and just making adjustments. And, one weekend, you may not be seeing it well, and the next you're seeing it really well. So just keep battling day in and day out there. So
how much of that happens in the turtle necessarily? Because been able to see it, you are a workhorse during batting practice. How much of that was taken during batting practice?
Yeah, so a lot of it is during batting practice, but then a lot of it is outside. So I get to the field, an hour early than usual. I kind of go through my routine, one-hand work, trying to see the ball deep. And then in the turtle, I kind of want to have everything figured out by the time I get in the turtle. So that way I can just see the ball and just try to stay inside and hit things up the middle. I'm not a big power guy, so a lot has to do with just base hits, trying to get on base and run the bases. So I'll talk to him if I feel off a little bit inside the turtle, but mostly there, I'm just trying to feel good rhythm, have good timing, and hit line drives. And especially here too, because the stadium's so big, I just like to try to stay middle and kind of let that work.
And like you talked about, might not be a power guy. However, you have some speed though, but prior to going to the mount, you led the country in stolen bases, and really you've continued on. You lead the NECBL in stolen bases. So first of all, where do you get that speed and how do you intend to use it?
Yeah, so I've always been a quick guy. I'm not really the fastest, but when I went into my JUCO season at Patrick Henry, the head coach there, Cody Ellis, really made sure that this is the way we're going to run, and we're going to be aggressive, and we're going to get it done. So every day at practice, it was 20 to 30 minutes of doing base running stuff, learning the new style, which is like a UCLA kind of, or picking up on somebody's tendencies. And if he's slow to the plate, like, we're going to run. We don't care if we get thrown out, we're going to run. And I just took that with me to Mount St. Mary's, and coach had the same exact kind of style. We're going to be aggressive. He's going to let me do what I do, which is great, because you can't be – if I think coach is going to be mad because I get thrown out here, then I probably won't really want to run. So they've done a great job. Like, yeah, no, you go ahead, run, and it comes. You're going to get thrown out sometimes, kind of thing. And I did a lot of speed training throughout high school. I ran track actually my senior year, which helped. And again, like I said, I'm not the fastest, but just trying to pick up on, pitchers' tendencies and try to bait them into thinking like, I'm not going to run. And then you go ahead and try it. So it's worked out well.
All right. Follow-up question. You ran track. What events did you run? Let's see. I'm a track guy. I ran a little track. I was distance guy, but let's see. What'd you run?
So I ran the 55 meter.
Oh, a little short guy.
Yeah. And then I ran the 200 meter. Actually, no, I did the 4x2 actually, because it was winter. So I did the 4x2, and then I ran the 300, which was a little too long for me. But those were two things. We actually made it to the States as a 4x2 team. Another one of my buddies who played outfield at South Carolina, and then we had two guys that went to run at Liberty University. So
you got some that's a stacked 4x2 team by all means.
Yeah. And we were definitely nowhere close to first place, but we were fast, but a lot of other guys, because you figure, in the winter, a lot of football guys were running backs, wide receivers. So I remember we ran against Notre Dame's running back, Chris Tyree. And yeah,
Notre
there
Dame
you
guy,
go.
yeah, see?
Yep. So we ran against him, and we ran against some in-state guys going to Virginia Tech to play wide receiver, guys like UNC, kind of working down into the recruits into North Carolina kind of thing. So it was fun. I enjoyed it.
Look at this, the cool little stuff you get to find out right here on Inside the Schooners. And now let's transition away from spring ball and now let's get into the summer. Right now, been an electric, have been a mainstay in the lineup since opening day, have really continued because, like we talked about, of that speed in the leadoff spot and been getting on base. What do you think has been the key to your success so far right now in the NECBL particularly?
So I think you definitely have to put the work outside. You know, you have to prepare. If you don't prepare well enough, then by the time you get on the field, especially these guys, these are really good arms that we're facing, velo wise and off speed. And so I kind of just try to prepare outside the field, whether it's with Coach Long letting us use DBI or getting to the field early, getting inside the cage. I think the most important part is that, you know, we're kind of to the age now, you can make little adjustments and things like that, but you're going to have to really compete and making sure that, you know, I've had games where I've struggled here already, 10 games in or so, but you can't miss the pitches that are coming because a pitcher may only, kind of let you have one pitch. And if you foul it off, like put yourself behind and he kind of gets to throw what he wants. So when I get up there to the box, first it's like, okay, we're going to compete here. And then the second is I'm really just going to try to attack this guy. And whether it's fastball and try to see an off-speed hang in or something like that. Sometimes they're going to make good pitches and you're going to have to fight, but you can't miss your pitch because it might be the best pitch you see. And you got to be able to go in there, be aggressive enough to hack and just compete. Really, another thing that's super important to me is my two-strike approach. Like choke it up, spread it out, get on top of the plate. And that's something our head coach, Frank Leone, teaches us a lot about St. Mary's, is two-strike approach. Like, look, we're going to be aggressive. And that was one thing Coach Orby was talking about the other day is, hey, we're striking out a little too much, at this point in the season because we've lost some one-run ball games, that kind of thing. So that's super important to me is really trying to zone in and choke up, spread out, get on top of the plate. And because I feel like, if I strike out here, I didn't make them make a play. So put stuff in play, make them work, let good things happen. So.
And it's something to be said for just putting bat on ball. Anything can happen, especially when you play at home at Dodd Stadium. It's a wide outfield. Anything can really happen. There's some large gaps. So definitely echoing that sentiment. And we touched upon it. Base running, all you, man. There's nobody. In my personal opinion, I am a little biased here since I do cover you guys, but it's you, man. You're really. What has been so key in base running? We talked about jumping and we talked about this, but really you're lighting it up in the NECBL just like nothing happened. I feel like I've asked you the same question, but like, how do you get so good on the base paths? And you talked about it, especially when you're seeing maybe some higher level catchers who can throw down a little quicker here in the NECBL.
Yeah, one thing that we kind of talk about too with Coach Orby or Coach Ray at first base is I want to know their times, pitchers' times. I want to know catchers' pop times, that kind of thing. And, tendencies is big, like we talked about earlier, but again, you've got to run. If you don't run, you're not going to be able to steal bases. So just making sure you find good counts to do that in too. If the guy goes, to start off, I get on base, the guy behind me gets a 0-0 breaking ball in the dirt to start the count, then I'm probably not going to run the next pitch because now he's it's 1-0. He's probably going to come with a fastball. So, if he throws two fastballs in a row, gets guy 0-2, then I'm probably going to end up running there because I'm thinking, okay, probably off-speed pitch here, good pitch to run on. So I think really knowing your counts while picking up the tendencies that the pitchers has and getting a good jump. You've got to know too when to run. I think last night was I got thrown out last night running, and I I kind of decided to myself, well, I didn't really get a good jump, but I decided to go anyways. Still bang, bang play. And sometimes that's kind of the chance you take. And, if you're aggressive, sometimes you'll be a little over aggressive, but, kind of let that not, keep you back from doing the same thing again. I tried to steal on him again, and a ball ended up getting put in play. But as soon as whether it's two, you steal second right away, the next pitch I'm looking to steal again. Like you don't wait. Like we're going. That was another thing I learned at JUCO. Like we don't have time to wait. That was kind of like our motto. We don't have time to wait. When we get on, we know, and we're going. Unless it's the first batter of the game and you're trying to see the tendencies the guy's kind of getting into. Wait a couple pitches, seeing what he's at. But by the time I get up there the second time, I should already know where he's at, whether I'm watching another teammate at first base to pick off on his tendencies in the dugout. That's another big thing. Or whether it's just me right away after learning from him the first time.
And so let's take away the O side of baseball. You're still showing off the leather yourself out there in left field. Got a lot of room to cover, especially here at Dodd, and you showed it off. Really, your defense has been just as great as your base running. What is your defense? How have you found your defense so far this year?
Yeah, so my defense has been, pretty well so far. Been aggressive on this. Made some diving catches, and I've thrown some guys out at the plate. So kind of my motto out there is get the ball out quick. Try to not take too much time, put it on the line. Whatever happens, happens. And then making sure out there in the outfield, there's a lot of ground to cover there, and, trying to find myself being aggressive out there, wanting the baseball. I think everybody needs to want the baseball to make good plays. And so at the right time in the right place, you lay it out, and if you catch it, great. And if not, just right back at it. So, I mean, sometimes, I feel like you've got to be aggressive enough to where, okay, I got a shot at this ball at the right time. And sometimes you're just going to have to let it fall in. Maybe you're up by one and you don't want to dive because you don't want to get him by you. And guy getting some extra bases. So I've had that opportunity to, pitching staff keeping us close in ball games, keeping us ahead. It's allowed me to make good defensive plays.
All right. So we've talked offense, we've talked defense, we've talked base running, but now we got to talk about you, about who you are. We're going to play a little game. We're going to ask a couple rapid fire questions for you. We're going to get to know Tristian McAlister a little better here. All right, Tristian, we ready? So we've learned everything about you, getting some great insight on your baseball IQ, but now we're going to figure out who you are with a couple rapid fire questions. All right. You ready to rock and roll?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Artist right now that you are listening to, you cannot get enough of.
It definitely has to be a Little Baby, probably.
Okay.
Just because, he's my walk-up song. He's what I listen to in the car before I'm getting to Dodge Stadium. It gets me fired up. Definitely him. Polo G, Rod Wave are close behind him, but Little Baby's definitely number one right now.
All right. Favorite movie?
Oh, gosh, this is hard.
This is a tough one. I know.
Yeah. So probably old one, probably Remember the Titans.
Oh,
I like the more of the story that had growing up. I got to meet some of those guys because it's actually T.C. Williams from the high school where they filmed and stuff is close to home,
Nice.
Probably 30 minutes. So growing up, I was always a Remember the Titans kind of guy. And, if you threw it on tonight, then I'd probably be there watching it. So.
All right. We're coming into summertime. Summertime in New England means ice cream flavor of choice right now.
I'm a little different. So I'm going to go into the store and I'm going to ask them for chocolate chip cookie dough. And then I'm going to say, can you throw some hot fudge and peanut butter on it?
Oh, I see you. Toss
Yeah.
a little are you a peanut butter guy then?
I'm a peanut butter guy.
Oh,
peanut butter waffles. There's some peanut butter on some chocolate chip cookies. So
that chocolate chip cookie. Now that's a good one. I might have to try that one. All right. And then right now, what is your go-to jammer in the car? I know we talked about it. Like, what's the song though? Everyone has that one song that no matter what can get them hyped. So we talked to artist. who's going to be your song?
So my song, oh, that's hard because I do all different kinds.
Yep.
I want to just jam. So I would say there's a difference between jamming and getting hyped up.
Okay.
So if I'm getting hyped up, then I'm going with a little baby song or something like that.
All right.
But if I'm jamming, I'm probably going Michael Jackson, a little
Ooh.
PYT back in the day kind of thing. So the Michael Jackson's probably my kind of jamming artist throwback where I think everybody can enjoy it. Or because then it's different. Like country, I feels like more cruising, relaxing, going to the beach on our off days, that kind of thing. But jamming, I'm definitely going Michael Jackson.
All right. And then I got a final question. When are you most productive during the day?
As soon as I wake up.
Oh, yes. A morning guy. This is what I like to hear.
So I love to wake up in the morning, make my bed. So I already feel like I'm productive there.
Nice.
Get a good breakfast in, and then hit the gym right away before go hit and get to the stadium and stuff. So I feel like the key to having a good productive day with some motivation and energy is getting it done right away in the morning.
Oh, look at that. We just went rapid fire with my man, Tristian McAlister. And that's going to wrap up this episode of Inside the Schooners. Thank you so much for watching. Stay here to our YouTube channel, locked in, as we'll talk to a couple more players and we'll talk to coaches and potentially some front office staff as we continue going on this season-long journey with the Schooners. See you later, guys.